forward a bit like that. That's it. Yeah, that's good.
But it's quite funny, you know, because, like I say, you sometimes got like 500 people in front of you and no one's bidding. No one bids. And this is the difficulty, because somehow you've got to get it going and you've got to be sure that someone then jumps in. You sort of get to know where to start on a car, like the Zodiac, the Farnham Estate, you'd give that a massive build-up, being a rare bit of kit. And if you've got a reserve that you've got to get to of like 15 grand, then there's no point starting any less than 10, because you won't get there. And then you've got to decide in which increments you're going to go up. So with something like that, you know, it'd be, I'd say, like, you know, one of the rarest Fords ever produced, you know, Ford Farnham Zodiac Estate, your chance today to buy one, probably never get another chance. Then start me 15, come and start me in your hands, you know, must start with a bid. We like to start with a bid in the hall, 10,000 we're off, 10,000, 5, 11, 5 and all the rest of it. And then hopefully then the hall takes over. But they don't start very well. You've got to really encourage them to start. But once you get to a certain figure, and then I try and say, well, car's on sale, I'm selling it, make no mistake, you're going to be losing it, you know, bid up. And then you're fine, they jump in. And then it stalls a bit, and I very often say, look, you know, if we're in £500 bids, you know, I very often say, look, I'll take 250 if it helps you. And a lot of people then are quite happy to give another 250, but maybe not a 500, you know. No, I'll go and get the cars, I think. Yeah, I like getting out and about, but it's a funny business. It's a bit nerve-wracking at first, when I first started. And if somebody had said to me on a Thursday, do you want to throw a switch and put it back 2 weeks and have a bit of a breather before the sale, you know, I'd have said, yeah, definitely. But now, no, I want to steam in and get it done. So it doesn't bother me anymore. It's just, you just develop a bit of patter. Oh, tremendously, yeah. Well, I do, personally. The team are not so bothered about it because it's easier the way it is now. And especially for like Paul and David and myself, because we haven't got to move 50, 60 cars, you know, that Thursday and Friday leading up to the sale, and then Saturday night, pouring a rain and all the rest of it, we've got to move them all back and that. So all that type of thing's easier, but it's not the same, you know, it's really not. I'm a lot more comfortable having like 500 people, but it was getting a bit out of control because the village hall down there has limited it to 200 people. Well, we squeezed 300 in, no one seems to notice that, so that's all right. And then we started having the auction upstairs in the back shed, and you sort of struggle with more than 500 people up there, and we were having 1,500 people on site. It was phenomenal, it was phenomenal. This COVID thing and this shed has sort of come at almost the right time, if you like, really. It's took a lot of pressure off us in many respects, you know. But we've got another problem in as much as room. I mean, down there's not quite full up, but it's not far off it really. Here's fairly well full, but you see this in a fortnight's time, you won't be able to move, it'll be everywhere, it'll be absolute chock-a-block. And when we came in first night to look at this shed, you know, we stood over here and the lads said, oh, it's a big shed, isn't it? You know, a big thing like this bit here as well. And I didn't say a lot, but I thought, you know, you're going to feel this like that. And we certainly have. Do you know what? There's no difference at all. No difference, none whatsoever. I thought it would be different, and that's what you're thinking. But just because it's 120 grand, it makes no difference to me. No, you know, it could be 500,000. It don't make any difference really. It's just getting up there in the right increments as quick as you can. And I believe in moving on quick. You know, like the old British car auctions that I've used to go into. You know, don't delay too much, and you can give a little bit of time for people to think. But if you give them too much time to think, they'll pull out. You know, and it's like. And I say to people, don't look around it too much. If you keep looking around it, you won't buy it. And so I like to move on a little bit and bang, 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 which probably comes over in the showroom, in the show really, I think. If you'd have said to me before that Aston Martin, I'd have probably said Aston Martin, you know, because I've got stuff Astons myself. I'm a fan of Astons, and to a lot of auctioneers, and myself included, that would be the ultimate bit of stock, if you like, really, I think. So I would have said that probably, but now, not really, no, not really. David went out this week and he's picked up, it's somewhere here, 100 mile from you, Triumph Toledo, I think it is. It's done 100 miles from you. In fact, we might even be looking at it there. I'm not too sure whether they're in here. I'm not too sure. So I'll get a great kick out of selling that because it's so unique. You know, it's far more unique than an Aston Martin, and it's just like a time warp. And I find that I can get that over to people very well because I appreciate it, and I think, I think enthusiasm's infectious, isn't it? And if I can appreciate it, then I can get that out to them. So that to me is important. Oh, I would think of MGBs, you know, which is why I was pleased you got that MGB in that line up there, because they're everybody's sort of quite favourite little sports car, aren't they? And they're good value, easily maintained, parts are cheap, they're not overpriced, so without a doubt I'd say we sell more MGBs than anything. But with cars, using cars, no, they should be used, shouldn't they? And I've gone off of concours condition cars now, mint cars. I used to think that everything we had in our collection had to be really top notch, but I've gone off of that now. I just like nice, smart, immaculate cars, but not so good that you daren't drive them down the road, because you're missing out so much. It's a terrible shame. And we've had all that. I mean, I have an Aston down there now, DB6, that I think it was mentioned on the show last night, I'm not sure. But when the kids were little, I mean, David being that bit older than the other two, he'd have to sit in the middle, in the back, and I said, well, put your feet either side of the tunnel, you know, don't put your feet on the carpet, put it either side on the mat. And the other two would sit there, you know, and we'd go off to the coast or wherever it might be. And
we used to go out, my dad's Aston Martin, feet on the mats, don't touch the windows. We sat there as good as gold in the back, yeah.
And then it was quite sort of, I don't know, I never thought too much about it. It was fairly normal for me, but when I look back, I think it was a bit of a tyrant, really. It's a shame to make them do that. So I now get more fun out of going out in something that's lovely, but you know, it's not that bothered about it getting marked if it does. You know, upsetting, but it wouldn't be devastating. What would I have? But that is real difficult, because when you're in this position, you can see so many nice points about every car. I've just got a thing, and I've had a thing for a long, long time about Bentleys. I have a couple of Mark 6 Bentleys, and I think if I had to keep anything, it would almost certainly be a Bentley, I think. I've just been very lucky enough to find myself an S3 Continental, which I love very much, and I shall use it tonight probably, and I'll enjoy that ever so much. So it would be a Bentley, you know, not an expensive Bentley, you know, 15, 20 grand, enough money, don't get me wrong, but it's not a top end Bentley. So a Bentley, I think, or a Moist 1000. yeah, the other end of it.